First would be the obvious that it provides the resources of a fantastic encyclopedia. It's a goldmine of information placed in an organized structure. That is probably one of the greatest advantages because as a quizzer, when you are looking for trivia, for making questions or for preparing for quizzes, the disadvantages of most other sources of information is that it is available in an unorganized structure. So when you're studying on a specific topic, probably you'll have to search around 20, 30 Google pages and all to actually reach the final solution. But Wikipedia, probably it's an extensive source of information placed in one document itself. The third would be the insight-free documentation license, which can be exploited for applications beyond the encyclopedia. Now let us take a look at why Wiki should be used in quizzing. It is already being used in quizzing, but I'll just focus on the highlights of the same. Quizzing is a superb alternative use for encyclopedic data. I mean, most of us would as an encyclopedia, it's a very, from a personal point of view, just reading through an article, it is okay for maybe a couple of articles, but when you read articles on a regular basis, it might tend to become a very boring sort of a habit. But if you look at quizzing and if you look at trivia, and if you then backtrack yourself from that trivia and you go to that article and you read up on that article, it's a much more interesting way of going through the article than doing it in a mundane sort of way. Mining Wiki would result in an array of questions from all diverse fields: geography, history, sports, entertainment, and science, across all areas of human endeavor and study across the globe. Let us see the applications of Wiki in quizzing so far. I mean, from my personal experiences over the last, I have been quizzing for around 5 years or so. So it has been used in basically two stages. The first would be the on-stage platform, where in actual the on-stage hosting of quizzes, which are done in most campuses around the country, and even organizations such as the Tatas organize Tata Crucible and other such events, where you actually use Wiki content and trivia in framing questions. The second would be the platform which has come up very recently in the last 5 years or so, which is the online platform, through which you can have quiz blogs, online treasure hunts, and applications such as Quizipedia, Wikitrivia, Wikiwords, and all of these, I'll come to these later. And you also have generation of content for information-based sites such as brand history on quizzing.in, which is also documented later in this presentation. Let's just take a look at the on-stage application of Wikipedia. The first of all, it's an ease of access to specific information as compared to older resources such as newspaper and books. Now, all of us probably know of Derek O'Brien and Barry O'Brien. Their father, Neil O'Brien, is probably the oldest, most famous quizmaster in India. He's been quizzing for almost 50 years now. So his quizzes is conducted in a way, basically he takes down articles from newspapers and books, keeps a scrapbook of the same and maintains information regarding the same. So nowadays, and he holds a quiz called the Dalhousie Open in Calcutta, which is probably one of the most famous quizzes in Calcutta. So in the last edition himself, he mentioned that for me also, maintaining an online scrapbook using Wikipedia would be a much more convenient way than to actually search for articles in newspapers and other various books and journals. Second would be self-updating and exhaustive. Exhaustive I would like to put within quotes because Wikipedia is continuously evolving. So what we might think about an article is complete, may not be complete, it might get added later on. But then again, the self-updating factor comes into play. And lastly, the generation of content for quizzes on very specific topics. Now, there is something called the quizmaster's bias, which was prevalent maybe around 10-12 years back. So if a quizmaster is heavily intent on, say, entertainment or business, even if he's hosting a general quiz, you'll find a bias towards entertainment or business, as in probably 30% of his questions will be on that topic itself. What Wikipedia does since it generates information and content so easily, so the quizmaster can have an equal playing field for all topics in the quizzes he's hosting. As Rohit Nair, he is a quizmaster who I work with, who hosts the largest not-for-profit quizzing site, quizzing.in. He says that the diversity of questions in general quizzes has increased post the advent of Wikipedia, which I already mentioned in the last point. Let's look at quiz blogs. Quiz blogs is a very interesting thing. I myself had a couple of quiz blogs of my own. The whole point is anyone and everyone can be a quizmaster. A lot of people face, the stage block, stage fright, as in coming up to on stage to present a quiz or any such event. But a lot of them are actually very avid quizzers, and they have the knowledge, and the data bank is so vast that probably if it's shared among a lot of other people, it would do a lot of greater good to mankind. But unfortunately, because of their stage fright, they're not able to come up and express themselves to a larger audience. So what a quiz blog does is it helps them in expressing their questions and coming up with some really good questions. So we have, loads of very, very good quiz blogs which are documented in a site called quizblogs.in. So if you can check it out, you'll find around 500 Indian quiz blogs at least, and I'm not even talking about the international ones here. And the mushrooming of quiz blogs started post the arrival of Wikipedia, because before that, again, I said, content was very limited. And also when regarding the framing of a question, it is very essential that when you are framing a question, it should be absolutely correct, because when you're, for every question, for a trivia you're using, if you're not using it from a proper source, then for all you know, it might just be a rumor or something else. But what Wikipedia, encyclopedias, I read a report that out of every 4 Britannica articles, there is one error, and out of every 3 wiki articles, there is one error. But in case of wiki, the chance of self-updation, as I mentioned, is greater. So the error correction will also be greater, and hence you get a greater source of data. Ease of maintenance and content generation with a quiz blog is you can easily, if you've made a wrong post, if you posted a wrong question, you can obviously delete it and you can obviously post another question. It's easy to maintain a quiz blog as well. It's as simple as using a blog for writing your personal posts. Besides, it caters to a larger audience base. As a quiz master in an auditorium, quizzing is a very niche sort of habit or passion. So, having been a quizmaster at my college, I would say barely 50 people used to turn up for each quiz. But with a quiz blog, I'll be able to reach out not only to quizzers all across India, but across the globe itself. For example, our college quiz blog, it started off with around 10 followers or so, but right now it has over 100 followers. And the questions are there forever. So it's like, if you, as a quizzer, if you maintain, there are a lot of quizzers who go to quizzes and maintain a diary of the quizzes. So, but then again, it's very difficult to maintain diaries over a period of time, especially if you've been quizzing for a long time, say 10 years or 12 years. But with a quiz blog, you can easily catalog the information in your personal diary or some sort of online repository. And there is a domino effect in generating content for on-stage quizzes. The fact is, this also, although I would say is not a very good habit, but the thing is, a lot of quizmasters these days, especially when they're hosting back-to-back quizzes, they do tend to take in a lot of questions from the online quizzing platform. While I would say the questions would be of very good quality, because a lot of extensive research would have gone behind making those questions. This raises issues about plagiarism and other such concerns. Let's talk about online treasure hunts. This is probably the latest evolution of the quizzing format. So it was kickstarted by the popularity of Notepron. I'm not sure how many of you have used Notepron, but basically Notepron is a site where you're given some sort of a hint or a question. An answer you have to work out using Google and Wikipedia and other such platforms. And for all you know, the answer might be present in the source code of the page itself. Once you key in the answer, there's a answer box. You go to the next level and so on. So it is one of the most highly challenging forms of quizzing, and it requires an extensive amount of trivia for its formulation. Because now let's look at the other apps which I'm talking about. Quizzipedia is an app started by Wikipedia to come up with a question with a blank like this. The answers could be, and once you answer this, you move on to the next level and you are given sort of points on this. It's just a purely harmless pastime, so it's just for passing your time. The next would be Wikitrivia. Wikitrivia, again, it's as it's written, it's a trivia game freshly generated from Wikipedia articles. Basically here you, unlike Quizzipedia, you actually have the option of choosing your topic and generating questions on the same. The third I would have liked to show you, but unfortunately it's a flash animation, so I couldn't put it in a PPT. It's an app called Wikiwords. It basically uses the Wikimedia API, and the concept is, it's a word or a phrase or a concept is shown on the screen, and there are various branches. what you have to do is you have to click away the non-related concept branches with time. Say for example, if Gandhi comes up on the screen, then the options which would come up will be Satyagraha, Dandi March, Nazi. So what you have to do is you just have to click away Nazi to ensure that the right branches are left behind. Again, the whole content is generated from Wikipedia itself. And apart from that, let's move on to the next part which I'm going to talk about, which is basically generation of content, brand history. Now, brand history is a project which I myself am working on. It's on quizzing.in. It's the basic aim of brand history is to become the world's largest repository of brands, because myself and Rohit, the founder of quizzing.in, we are passionate about brands as such, and information and trivia generated on the same, because there is lots of trivia. A lot of us do not actually know about major brands. So whatever content we have generated so far is using Wikipedia and Superbrands itself, and Superbrand itself, I believe, takes a lot of its content from Wikipedia. As I said, the formulation and execution, the whole concept itself is based on Wiki. In 2 months, brand history has helped quizzing.in rise by around 2 lakh rating points according to Alexa data, and it's still growing. Yes, sir. And the road ahead, I would say, what are the options? I mean, if you look at quizzing these days, it's, 10 to 15 years back, it was just treated as a pastime, but as of now, it's seen to be something very important, because for interdisciplinary courses, if you go for higher educations like management and civil services, you need to have a general knowledge awareness, which would be greater than if you go for a technical course. What I feel is that Wiki itself can come out in the supporting the cause of quizzing, such that, because I believe quizzing itself is restricted a lot to the developing and developed countries. So there's a quiz called the World Quiz Challenge. You'll find participants mostly from the USA, UK, India, but you'd rarely see a quizzer coming up from somewhere in Africa or other places. But Wiki itself has a very extensive reach, so if it in itself self-sponsors quizzes, then I believe the whole cause of quizzing itself can be promoted as a whole. And apart from that, at quizzing.in, we are coming up with, we're using the social media platform to come up with apps, Android apps, web apps, to mine Wikipedia, such that we can generate content for quizzes and online quizzing applications as such. I would like to give a round of thanks to a few people. First would be Rohit Nair, as I said, for his views on quizzing as such. The second would be Jim Blackler for Quizzipedia. Third is Alex Sykes and Philip Lenson for Wikitrivia. I couldn't find the authors of Wikiwords, but was just given anonymously as Cheshire Push and Brain Dump. Lastly, to you for listening to me out for the last 15 minutes or so. My contact details are here. I'm available on Facebook and LinkedIn. So if you have any ideas regarding the same, if you do wish to connect with us and work on brand history or quizzing.in, you're absolutely welcome. These are my mail IDs and my contact number. And if anyone has any questions, you're free to ask. Okay. I'll just go Wiki. If there was internet, I would have just type Wikiwords on Google. I'll just go back to the slide. Wikiwords, as I said, if you the concept, say Gandhi comes up, there'll be like around 6-7 branches attached to the concept in a flash animation. See, there's a circle in the middle which shows Gandhi, and then there are various branches. So you have Satyagraha, you have Dandi March, you have Kasturba Gandhi. It mines its content from Wikipedia itself. So basically, you have to click away the non-related branches from the itself, and the number of non-related branches you click away, the higher your score is. So just test your general knowledge to its greatest extent. Anything else? At engineering college, in my engineering college, we used to have quizzes every 2 weeks. Even in my B school, we are doing it on the same basis. Apart from that, on the quizzing.in platform, we have quizzes, online quizzes every week. And it's on various topics, so it's not restricted to a specific topic as such. That was what I was mentioning. I mean, we are coming up with a contest basically. I mean, actually, Rohit is coming up with a contest. There's a platform called Internshala which provides interns for engineering college students and management students. So, what we are thinking of is designing apps for Facebook or Android or web apps which will mine Wikipedia to generate, say, crosswords or some other sort of interactive challenges as such.
Last question.
When you talk about quizzing, the fact that Nazreen quizzes are on the current issues, and it is generally the current issues, if currently considering the fact that if they are GK quiz. As far as I have attended all the quizzes of Rohit Nair, even the last one being at IIT Bombay, almost all deal with the current issues. So if you are trying to find Wikipedia for getting the information out of them, then the authenticity of the information also raises questions at certain situations.
First of all, I would like to correct you on the fact that it's very difficult to design a complete quiz on current issues.
Yeah, I'm not saying that to design a complete quiz, but it is current issues are a part of it. So how do you deal with that aspect? Because even I am a part of making a lot of quizzes. So I want to know.
Regarding the authenticity part, I mean, as you might have noticed, when Steve Jobs died, I mean, within, say, probably a couple of hours, it was updated on Wikipedia. So while we accept the fact that probably it's not authentic, but then again, when the question would come up in a quiz, I'm sure the day Steve Jobs died, that day itself, I guess no specific question regarding that would come up in a quiz. Probably it will come up in a couple of days later. And as I said, Wikipedia is not the only source of information we resort to. But it is the first source of information because it's extensive. We obviously do cross-check it with a lot of other places.
And especially with respect to regional languages. And really, I have all salutes for them. I think that Hindi, here, yesterday was not, even one leader was not even to present the presentation. Hindi speaker from anybody from Hindi hinterland, whereas the statistics show that there are more than 1 lakh talking all the. So the statistics tell one thing, the reality remains to the other. So
there are a lot of participation, but not in this event.
there are a lot
In the context of Wikipedia, there are a lot of
the
participation.
problem with the Hindi is, that we are forced to not to first think ourselves in English as do other regional languages. But at the same time, because Hindi has not got the proper status, there are so many reasons for that. That is the reason the people from Hindi hinterland suffer from sort of inferiority complex.
And apart from that, the people who have Hindi as a mother tongue also do not come up for initiating the Wikipedia activities among themselves.
Yes, so although Hindi is talking the language, and there is no reason for any inferiority, but the fact is that other language people, and also I was actually appreciating the Wikipedia in the sense that they have reached out to regional languages very well, and this regional language, the whole plethora and the whole panoramic and spectrum of India can only be known and understood only if we can see all the petals of the flower. That is India, where hundreds of flowers bloom. So from that angle, I think this is good attempt.
I appreciate. I mean, we'll just move for the next. Can you just introduce yourself? Yeah.
It's good to go. I will start with the academy. We have 2 parts. The first part I'll be telling about the present status of different Indic language Wikipedia projects, and after that we have Bandar from the Marathi Wikipedia community who will be conducting a workshop how to edit Wikipedia in any Indian languages, and that will be specifically in Marathi. So this is the present scenario of the Wikipedia, the number of articles of different Indic language Wikipedias. So this list continues this well. Hindi has the highest number of articles.